Hey guys, it's Ethan. Today I was going to cover how to set up a headless Linux server, and this is to say a Linux system that you interface with through the terminal of another computer, and it's up to you whether or not you want to have it plugged into a keyboard and a mouse and a display. But in my use case, for example, I just have another desktop just inside of like my desk, like a cabinet. There's no display attached to it, there's no keyboard, no mouse. I interface with it entirely by SSHing into it like this. And now this is another computer, so this is my Gent server, and this is my Gen 2, and I even have a Minecraft server running on this. We can attach to it right now, so it's really its own kind of thing. It's kind of cool, and I figured I'd cover just how to get one set up to do something with, and I might do another video where I cover some of the use cases of it, like for example, running like your little DNS sync, like Pi-hole. I do that on a DNS, on a server computer as well, so maybe I'll cover that. But we'll focus on this for now. So in this video, I'm going to be using a virtual machine to represent the server. But for you, you're going to pretend that this right here is on your second computer. This is another computer. Maybe it's a laptop or a desktop, something. So get it all hooked up and boot up an installation of any Linux distro. I'm going to choose Ubuntu in this case because I think Ubuntu is probably the best for somebody who doesn't know how to do this already, because you can still use it graphically. All the drivers and firmware is set up for you out of the box. There's no configuration that needs to be done besides installing it. So we're just going to stick with Ubuntu for this, but again, you can use anything you want. I have Gen 2 on my server in real life. So start off by just hitting next, and we're going to go for a minimal installation here. We don't want to download, well, maybe I'm going to say we're not going to download updates because I'm not sure if this is going to make it do automatic updates after too. We're just going to say, third-party software for Wi-Fi and for graphics, because again, we're trying to get a very generic system that you don't know how to set up just working out of the box. And then we're going to say erase disk and start. And all you need for this build, by the way, for the computer, is you just need a working Wi-Fi connection, a keyboard, a mouse, and a display. And we're going to be working on like whether or not to keep it later. But anyways, we're going to name this. We're going to say Ethan server is going to be what my user is called. Computer name doesn't really matter. And we're going to choose a password. Doesn't really matter in this case because it's just going to be a VM I'm getting rid of right after. But in your case, you probably do want a strong password, but you're also going to maybe take a look at doing some SSH hardening to it after the fact. Again, this is all stuff that I might cover in the future, but as for now, we're just going to be going with a very basic setup. So we're going to let this install, and I'll come back when it's finished. Alright, so the installation is finished, so we're just going to go ahead and hit restart now, and that should restart the computer, or the VM in this case. Alright, we're going to hit enter there. It's going to boot it back up. Actually, at this point, I should remove this, or it's already removed it, okay, it's automatically. So it's going to boot us into Ubuntu for the first time, or Ubuntu. I know there's some people that say it's pronounced one way or the other. Go ahead and log in. And I'm not sure how the graphics are going to act with this VM. It might be super slow, who knows. No, it seems fine. We're gonna skip signing into accounts, and we're gonna skip live patch, and we're gonna just ignore sending data. We're trying to make this as minimal as possible, so we're just gonna say done, right? And what you need to do at this point is you need to open up a terminal. So you could open it from like hitting the Windows key or the applications, or you can just, I believe, I forget what it is on this. It's Control-Alt-T opens up a terminal. Okay. And we're going to make this bigger so you can see. So what we need to do at this point is we need to install Open Ssh. So we're going to sudo apt install Open Ssh. We might need to run an update first. We'll see. Or is it server? There it is. It's Open Ssh server is what you need right here. I'm going to go ahead and download that. And Open Ssh server is just a way to SSH, I guess it is. It's nothing special really, and at this point, because it's systemd, you can sudo systemctl start sshd, I believe. Yep, and then we're also going to enable it so it starts on boot. Is it just, oh, okay, it's just SSH. Okay, if you couldn't tell, I'm not extremely familiar with Ubuntu. But anyways, at this point, we should be all set. So if we type in IPA, you'll see you have your interface right here, and it's going to give you basically your device's IP on the network. So in this case, we're going to keep track of 192.168.1.42, but yours is going to be different. So just look for the IP that looks something similar to this. You might have a 0 here at different numbers. Don't worry too much about it. And we need to open up on another computer now, whether this is your main computer or it's a Windows computer. Open up a terminal of some sort. And then you're going to want to type in the terminal. You have to be on the same network for this unless you're going to do some port forwarding, but we're going to do just the same network, SSH. The computer's username, so in my case it's Ethannij server. You can see the username right here. It's before the @ sign. At 192.168.1.42. Now you can see this is the IP right here, so we're just going to SSH into this IP, and it's going to ask us, we'll move it over, it's going to ask us like yes or no, do you want to connect? We're going to say yes we do, and we're going to type the password to the computer. So this is not our main computer's password, this is the one that we're connecting to, and we're in. We're now into our server. It's now technically headless, but we're going to leave this for now. We're going to head back to the VM or the second computer, because we need to unplug this now from the display and from the keyboard and mouse. So what we're going to do at this point is we're going to power this off, because we need this to basically be sufficient on its own without having like interaction. We need to be able to press the power button on it, and then it should be ready and working. So in your case, disconnect the monitor from it. So that's me removing the display server, right? And then also get rid of the keyboard and mouse. You're going to want to unplug both of them unless it needs it to boot up. I know some computers, some motherboards and all that sometimes require you to have a keyboard and mouse plugged in for it to boot up. But in this case, we're going to remove all of that, and we should just be able to click the power button on your server. So press the power button on your server and it should start it up. You should hear it booting up. And at this point, it doesn't need to be connected to anything. It should just be completely disconnected. And if we try to SSH again, once it's been started, I'm not sure if it's up. Actually, yes, it is up. You can see this server, this headless server, there's no display. We can't interface with this at all. Is up and running, which means it's now time for you to do whatever you want with it. So what can you do with a headless server? Like I said, you can run something like a Minecraft server off of it. You can run virtual machines off of it. They can do things like process DNS requests in the case of like a DNS sync. You can do basically anything with a server like this. So this is how you can get you can take a computer that you have at home, whether it be a laptop or any other computer, and just set it up like a server, put it somewhere, forget about it, and it should be working. So we're also going to, for the sake of it, update. We're going to sudo apt update just so we can make sure we can keep it nice and working. And then sudo apt upgrade to fully update everything on the system. And with that being said, that covers everything that I want to talk about in this video. I hope you found it useful and I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to get in contact with me, whether you have a question, you can leave it in the comments, or you can join my Discord server. Link is in the description, and you can just chat. I always like to help if you have any requests. You can also find me in the official, or I guess now it's the unofficial Gen 2 server, but that's not really an official way to get like contact with me. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope everything works out for you. I hope this was useful. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.